Today our topic is secret. Topic to be covered in secret. What is secret? What is the difference between configMap and secret? How to create secret? Inside this we can achieve from the YAML file and from the command line. Next would be how to insert secret variable in pod or deployment. And the last we will do the lab. In the lab first we will proceed with secret plain text. Second secret with encrypted variable. Third is secret with immutable, and the last one would be secret with command line. So let's proceed with the first one. What is secret? In Kubernetes, secret is just like a config map, but it is being used to store secret data like password, token, and so on. Let's understand with the help of 3D animation. We have one worker node. Inside this node, we have RAM. This is our pod. Inside this, we are running MySQL container. We have stored the password in secret so that no one can see it. Like config map, we have maximum 1 MB size of secret. Secret is stored in RAM, however, config map is stored in hard disk. Let's explore some official definition of secret. If we put sensitive data in port specification or in container image, it means it's a security breach. In Kubernetes, secrets are similar to config map but are specifically intended to hold confidential data. Thus, these confidential data can be mounted as data volume or environment variable to be used by container in a pod. Secret can be created independently of the pod that use them. Thus, there is less risk of secret and its data being exposed during the workflow of creating, viewing, and editing pods. In simple words, there is no risk to share the configuration of pods with anyone because all the sensitive data are stored in the secret. Using secret means that you don't need to include confidential data into your application code. Secret give you more flexibility in port lifecycle definition and encrypt the sensitive data such as password, token, PKI, or certificate or key. One downside of using secret are API server stores secret as unencrypted plain text in etcd database. It means that anyone with API access can retrieve or modify a secret. So, can anyone with access to etcd? Like config map, secret are namespace object. Size limit is also 1 MB and data is stored in TMPFS RAM and work node. Let's move ahead. How to create secret? There are two ways to create the secret. The first one is through YAML file and the second one is from command line. Let's explore the first one, that is create a secret through YAML file. In the secret YAML file, the API version is v1, the kind is secret. Inside this metadata, we have defined the name of the secret so that we can recognize the secret. Next, the type is opaque. There are different type of secrets, so built-in and uses. The first one is opaque. We can use for the arbitrary user defined data. Service account token. Next is we can use secret as a Docker configuration file and then Docker config JSON file. The next is basic auth. Next we can use SSH auth. Auth means authentication. Next we can use TLS secret as a TLS. We can also use secret as a token as I defined earlier. And here we define string data. As you can notice here that we have string data. However, in the config map we use data. Here we define username and password in the plain text. For that reason we use string data. If we use encrypted base 64 string, then we will use data instead of string data. In order to create the secret for encrypted format, what we need to do here, we need to define data instead of string data, and one can notice we have defined username and password in encrypted form. So how we generate these values? Let me tell you this thing here. We can use echo minus n and the value name and then pipe base 64. Base 64 is the algorithm that we can use to encrypt the value. So in our case, we have defined echo minus n database pipe base 64 and it generates this value. Same as it is for MySQL 123 and pipe and then base 64 and this is generated. I have added here. Why we are doing this thing? Because if someone access the secret, he has to decode this data. So it is not in plain text. And also we can add immutable equal to true. If we use this syntax, it means that the secret cannot be modified. And if one pod is using the secret and we have to modify the secret, then first we need to delete that pod, delete the secret, and then modify the new values and then create it and then apply on the pod. So we have successfully completed create secret through YAML file. The next one is create a secret from command line. So let's explore this one. First we need to execute kubectl create secret and then generic and secret name hyphen hyphen from file and the file name, and then second we can also use hyphen hyphen from file. It means that we can use secret generic pod hyphen db secret hyphen hyphen from file and this is my file name and again hyphen hyphen from file password dot txt. This is what we can do here, and this ssh key publication, this is what we can store the ssh key. This is very simple here, and here we define always generic, and after that we need to define the name of our secret. We can also use hyphen hyphen from literal. All variables are same. We have already covered in the configMap videos. Now next topic is how to insert secret in pod or deployment. This is my simple pod manifest file. Inside this we have added the volume definition. And here we have defined secret name. It's prod hyphen db hyphen secret. This is what we have defined in the secret. The name should be same. And after that, inside this pod definition, we have added volume mount and the name of volume is same here. It means that these variables will be available inside etc foo directory inside my container. The other way we can use env. As you can see here that I use secret key reference and the name of my secret is same that we have defined in the secret. And here I use key is username. So this username will be populated inside this variable. And the same one is password and it will be populated inside secret underscore password variable. So this is the theory for secret. Let's proceed with the lab. How we can execute all these YAML file and command line. Let's explore in the lab section. As you can see here that I have already logged into my GitHub page. In order to proceed the lab, first I need to click on Anish Rana 2001 and then Kubernetes directory. Beneath this, you will observe 14 volume directory. When you click here, you will be landed on this page. And here you need to click on secret. Let's proceed the lab for the first one, that is secret plain text. And then follow all the steps. In this lab, I'm using Killer CUDA interface. Let's suppose that if some student do not have the capability to create some VMs on his laptop or in on their computer, or maybe not able to join some cloud. So for that, I just explored this URL. You can click on killercoda.com and click on CKS, CKA, anything. So I just click on CKA. After that, I need to click on config map access import. Now it is asking me to log in into this. So here I'm using Google account. You can use whatever account you can have. So once you're able to log in into this site, you need to click on start button and it will provide you a 60-minute labs so you can explore it. Now I have logged in into this. If I execute this command kubectl get nodes. So here I will observe only one control plane, and in this control plane I can create the pods or deployment. So let me show you here. So if I follow this lab, how to create namespace from the YAML file. So I just need to copy here and paste it over here. Press enter. Then I need to create this namespace from this YAML file. For that reason, I just need to, now namespace is created. Create a secret under Tiger namespace with plain text. Here I'm using string data. Just copy it here, paste it over here. Control L, clear the screen. Now create the secret. Now secret is also created here. So we can describe this secret. Here I'm using minus n tiger namespace and then secret name. Now I can see that the name of the secret is this. It is created inside the tiger namespace and the type is opaque and data is 8 byte, password and username. We can also use get command. So in get, I can see two data we have defined. Now let's create a pod under namespace tiger and insert the variable from the volume section. This is my volume section here. And also I extend the container specification that it can mount here, paste over here, clear the screen. After that, I'm going to create this YAML file, going to create this object. So I'm using apply minus F. Let me check if this pod is running or not. It should be actually. Now as you can see here that it is running. Let's proceed further. It should also create two files inside this container. Now as you can see here that two files are created. One is username and the second one is password. Let me open one file. As you can observe that when I do cat this file name, I can see the variable name. Same as it is for the password. Let me paste it over here. MySQL 123. We can also insert the secret variable through env option. So let me create one pod. Here we are using env. I have already described in my theory part, so I'm not going to describe it again here. Let me create this object. For that reason, I just need to execute this command here, clear the window. Let me check if this pod is running or not. It should be. Now I should observe two pods. Yes, this is the case. So this env pod is created, newly created here. If I check the environment variable inside this pod, I should see the variables. For that reason, I'm just executing this command, which will be executed inside this secret pod, and now one can observe the secret username is this and the password is this. This is what we have defined inside this secret. And how I can clear the lab, I just need to copy this one here and paste it over here. If I use If I execute this command kubectl get all minus n names tiger namespace, no resource found in the tiger namespace. So guys, if you don't have any lab in your platform, then you can use this killer coda and it will give you 1 hour session. So you can complete the lab with the help of this killer coda. So now let's move to second lab. Let me go back and go with second lab. This is for encrypted variable. So we can use echo database and then base 64. Now I can see this value, and same if I execute this command, I will see this value. This value I need to insert in my secret manifest file. I have already created the namespace, so this time I'm going to ignore this section, and now I'm going to create the secret inside this tiger namespace. And here, as you can see here, that ZGF0, ZGF0 it is here, and TX1 is here. Let me copy and paste it over here, and then create this object from the output. Secret is created. It is secret 2. Describe the secret. We can use describe. Now I can see here 8 bytes. It is showing only bytes, and it is created inside the namespace tiger. That's it. We can also use get command. The type is opaque, and we have 2 keys inside this data. Now creating the names pod under namespace tiger, and again we are using volume option. Let me clear the screen here, paste it over here, and then create the pod. Yes, it is created, and also we can use get pod if my pod is running or not. Yes, it is running. Again we can check etc food directory, and I can see here that 2 files are created, and I can check it is showing database. Why this time it is showing in plain text? Because we have already encrypted, and Kubernetes are enough intelligent, and it decode the value, and it is showing database. And if I print here, it is MySQL 123. It is showing me. Now creating the pod under Tiger for env. This time we are using env option. Paste it over here, and then get this pod. I should see 2 pods running, and now env is container creating. Let me execute this command again. Now it is running. This pod is running env. Now I can use env option, and now here I can see secret username and password. It is showing in the plain text. Okay. Now edit the secret and check if my container is updated or not. So let me execute this command again. Last time we have MySQL 123 password, right? Let me show you here. This is MySQL 123, and now I'm going to update my password from 789. I can also check using this edit option. Let me copy here, and from the password I need to update this one. MJM equal to, it is 30 DK. Save and exit. As you can see here that it is edited. Now check the secret if it's updated or not. It is still showing MySQL 123. It means that I need to first delete my pod and then create this pod again. Let me delete this pod here. Kubectl delete hyphen n tiger for n pod secret env pod 2. Now it is deleted. Again, I need to create this pod here. So I'm just using the previous YAML file. And now if I execute this command, I should see the updated one, that is MySQL 789. From this lab, we get to know that we can also edit the secret, but we need to delete the pod and then create a new pod again. Let me delete all these stuffs here. And this time I'm also going to delete the tiger namespace. Let's proceed for the third lab, that is secret with immutable. Again, we have this base and MySQL. So for your reference, I did already in the previous lab, so I'm not going to repeat this section again. So namespace, let me create the namespace tiger again here. Namespace is created, and now I'm going to create the secret inside this tiger namespace, and we are using encrypted data, that is this one. And here we are using immutable equal to true. It means that Kubernetes will not allow me to update their secret like we did previously. Now secret is created. How to get more detail about the secret, we can use describe option, and here we can use get option here. We already did a couple of times, so this time I'm skipping this thing. Create the pod from volume option. It is created. Get pod. If it's working, yes, it is running fine. Let me check. Yes, username and password is showing, and I can also get this file. It means that everything is working fine. Now let's check the current encrypted value of password, that is this one. I can use get minus and tiger secret name is this minus o YAML. In the above I can see this is my encrypted value, right? And here if I execute this command again, I will see same values is here. Now I'm going to use 789 here, and this one is this, so it is a different one. Let me copy this one and edit the secret. Edit the secret, and let me copy this one here, 789. Same thing I'm doing here. When I hit the enter, it will open again. Let me show you. Here I edit, hit the enter, and again it will open a new file. If I do again here wq, it is producing the error message secret is invalid. This one, a copy you have changed is this one, edit cancelled, no valid changes were saved here. It means that Kubernetes is not allowing us to update the secret because we use immutable equal to yes option. For the reference, I'm just using this one, and again at that time I observed this error message. Let me clear the lab and also delete this namespace. If I do lsltr, I should not see a file here. This is the good case. Let me go back to the fourth lab, that is secret with command line. So lab for creating a secret from command line, encrypt the variable. These are the variables. So first I need to create the namespace. Again, I'm going to create the namespace. YAML file created, and now object is created with the help of kubectl create command. Create secret. So here I'm using kubectl minus n as my namespace name, and we are going to create secret, and this is the generic that we use, and the name of this secret is this one, secret 4. And here I'm using hyphen hyphen literal, and username I just define the key, and the value is database. Again I'm using hyphen hyphen from literal, and the key is password, and the value is mysql123. I can also define hyphen hyphen from file. At in that scenario I need to create two files. One is for database, sorry, one is for username, and the other one is for password. We had already performed this thing in configMap lab. So here I'm using SQL123. From the output it is created. Let's describe here. We can also describe this command. The output would be same. And get command, we can also use hyphen tiger get. I can see two keys are there inside the data. So let's create one pod with volume section, and after that I'm going to create secret. From the output it is created here. Let me get, I can see database. I can see MySQL 123. Now the last section is question. You are asked to create a secret and consume the secret in a pod using environmental variable as follow. Create a secret name app secret 1 with the key value pair key 30 value is 4. You will observe different values in the exam. No worries. Start the engine export name as this. So my pod name should be this, and using container image as nginx. I should use nginx image and add environmental variable exposing the value of secret key 30 and using this value. It means that in the env I have to use best variable 1. So in the exam you need to first click on kubernetes.io website. I have already logged in here. Click on documentation. Click here secret. No need to remember anything for the paper point of view. Click on the first link, and if you scroll down you will observe the command. I can use this command here, copy, and you can open one notepad here like this one and say here. Now go back to our question, and our value is key 30 and value is 4. So I can use here file, my key is this and value is this. That's it. Only one variable I need to define here. So it means that I need to remove all the stuff here, and here I need to use hyphen hyphen from literal. Let me check here if I have something. Here it is the syntax. Everything is mentioned in the kubernetes.io website. You don't need to remember anything. You can see equal to username equal to treasure. Key is 30 and value is 4 as per our question. Let's go back here. And the name of the secret is app secret 1. So let's modify our command. That's it. We are going to create one secret generic, and name of the secret is this, and from literal key is this, value is this. Let's check once again. Key value pair is key 30 value 4, key 30 value 4. Let me copy and paste it over here. Hyphen hyphen literal. It is showing me error, so I'm just going to add one hyphen here. Now it is created here. Again go back to our question. Engine export. Let me check here if I have some pod here. Kind equal to pod, and I can see here volume mount. This time we are using env because in the question it is saying environmental variable. So I need to use env. Again, I can use Control F and search env option. If you Control F, you will see this point here. Click on this, and now you will observe this pod. Just copy this pod manifest file and paste it over here. Pod name as Nginx secret 1. This is my pod name. So let me modify. After that, it is saying that I should use Nginx image. So it is using Nginx image here. And now environmental variable should be bash variable 1. Let me copy environmental variable 1. And here I need to define my secret name. This is my secret app 1 and my key is key 30. Let me modify here, paste it over here. Right, so let me go here, command and paste this pod eof end of file. After that I need to create this. Okay, mapping are not allowed in this context. Line number 2, I have some error. When I copy here, there is some indentation issue. So let me remove this indentation. The rest of the other things are same. I don't need to copy, modify here. So you need to careful about the indentation. Control C and now create this. Okay, so let me go get pod. Now my pod is running. I can also check best variable 1. Is it showing the correct variable or not? Yes, it is showing value 4. How to clear the lab for the previous section? So this is the command. It takes some time. Yes, it is there. Q2 is file is there. So I need to delete the question lab. And after that, I can see nothing here. If I execute this command, I don't see anything here. So my lab is also clear. In this way, we can create the secret, and in simple term, if we want to share simple text message, we can use configMap, and if we want to store some confidential data, we can use secret. I hope all these labs are helpful for you to understand the difference of volumes, configMap, and secret where we can use. If you like this video, please share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.